Kuda Talk Show, we are live again. What is love? There are so many questions around love. Do you understand love? Can you identify love? Do you know what it is? Is interest love? Okay, last week we had a lot of questions. Apostle is here to answer our questions once again. Apostle, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Apostle, what is love?
Well, we've defined love to be the image, the nature of God that He placed in man when He created man in His image and after His likeness. So, in conclusion, we drew the point that God is love, and that is what it is. I have said and reiterated that any definition we want to give to love that would not incorporate these facts that it is the image of God, that very nature of God that God has placed in man. Love itself is God. And I've also said that, you see, love is that which bonds in a relationship. Love is that which binds in a relationship. Therefore, God had deposited or placed love, that image, that nature in man, so that man can bond in every form of relationship. Basically, you have three relationships. You have man with God, man with his fellow man, and man with nature. And in this relationship, it has to be love. Anybody born of a woman on earth, it doesn't matter how you perceive the person, who the person is, whether wicked, whether bad, whether stubborn, whichever way you want to see the individual, that person has love in him or her. It's something God gave to us. Therefore, each person has that in him or her.
The question, what is love, came because there are so many questions, so many confusions. What is love and what is not love?
Well, you see, we need to understand this. So I think the question is in the right direction. Basically, I would want to say, number one, love is God. When you read First John chapter 4, for instance, using my Christian biases, Bible is our manual. The word of God tells us that God is love. So the very first thing one will want to consider is that love is God. Straight up. It has its own attending issues that one may want to look at, but for the purposes of maybe waiting for you to ask the questions when it's right, so to speak, I may want to hold my fire on that. So, number one, I want to say that God is love. Number two, God, love is God. Number two, love is power. Love is power. When you consider this particular fact that love is power, you would realize that anybody that has love carries that power, that potency, that helps the individual to bond, to be binded, to bond with the other party that is or she is in a relationship with. And that love is such that, or love is such that it makes you to be able to stand and withstand and overcome challenges and situations when they come to you. That is love. Very important. Love is power. And I've also realized that love is expressed. Love which is in us is expressed outwardly. You don't have love and you keep it in there and it is inactive, it is latent and doing nothing. No, love is always expressed. That is where there is a problem. Many people in the expression of love, or when people, the recipients of it, when they look at it, they quickly want to draw conclusion. But it's good you've asked this question. And then I've also realized that love doesn't die. It may grow cold, but doesn't die. It may be down, but it doesn't die. You may try to quench it, but love is more or less unquenchable. It doesn't die unless it is not love. But if it is love, no, it doesn't die. I believe that when we consider all these things, love, God is love, love is God, God is love, love is power. You see, love, you don't easily quench love, like I'm saying. I don't think so. I don't know what you think about it, but love is God, love is power. Love, you don't quench it. It doesn't die. Love stands tall, and love would stand the test of time. Love is expressed, and I also believe that love doesn't compete with anything. It is love. Rather, something else competes with love. Love doesn't compete with anything. Lust is competing with love. Very true. And you said, what is not love? That is a very good question also. What is not love? Lust is not love. Lust is competing with love to the extent that many people think that everything is about love. It may be lust, and lust has some resemblance with love. When you define love and use feeling, I normally have a problem with it because lust is feeling. Lust is not a nature, it's not an image, it's a feeling.
But Apostle, there's this school of thought that says you must lust before you love.
There is always a starting point to something in the real world. I'm always using the real world because since Adam fell and we got out of the ideal world into the real world, I told you everything and anything, everything is possible. And it happens. So there is a starting point to something. We cannot deny that. Lust is not love. And one would have to be very careful about that. Lust is not love. Not at all. Number two, sex is not love. These things are straightforward. Many people engage in sexual act. Would you call that love? The prostitute engages in sex. In short, sells sex. Is that love? Obviously not. Number three, giving may not be love. It's not. I know what I'm saying. Because somebody may give, not because he loves you. He may give you because of something he wants. Don't jump into conclusion and say that it is love or he loves me. No.
But if the person doesn't love you, he wouldn't give you what he has.
Does the devil love you? Doesn't the devil give?
That is subject to.
Well, so the devil
reasoning.
doesn't. The devil
That's
doesn't
when it's
love.
subject to reason.
The devil doesn't love, but he gives. So, what conclusion are you going to draw about that?
As per what explanation are you saying the devil doesn't love?
That
Love is subject to everybody's understanding, and then
well,
I
but,
bet to differ.
but the truth is, love is such that if you don't have it, you don't have it. If you have it, you have it. But when you want to draw conclusion on giving being love, you may get it all wrong. One need to be very careful. And I've also come to realize one thing, that when people have an interest, they may toe a certain line that may seem to be love. No, it is not. It is just an interest. So you cannot conclude and say that this is love. You need to check and know the interest behind it. Oh yes, of course. I mean,
But Apostle, if you love something, you will show interest.
good, you will show interest, but many people have an interest which is not love. All right? And you don't have to draw that conclusion and say it is love. Let me quickly give you a scenario. I don't know if we raised that point. There was this gentleman, a story I heard, who went pursuing a lady in the name of love. Now, the lady is a hard nut to crack. It took over a year for the lady to agree. Now, the gentleman kept pushing, went forward, sleep talking, looking good, buying gifts, being caring, being concerned, and the rest like that. Struck that deal, became good friends, got closer, showed his interest, and the rest like that. The lady wouldn't mind, the lady wouldn't agree. But with time, the lady found out that this gentleman is calm, is cool, is gentle, is showing all the right stuffs a man who is in love would do. He did that to the point where the lady now agreed to his love proposal. Now, because she agreed, she allowed, unfortunately, she allowed, they engaged in the sexual act. When the gentleman was done 1, 2, 3, 4, and he was okay, he jumped out of the relationship and he counted, I have cleared this one too. I clear him. So he had added, I clear him. Now, right from the beginning, you're laughing, right from the beginning, the lady didn't know, because the signs that she saw from the gentleman proves that this is a man who is in love, because he was gentle, he was patient, he was calm, he worked his way, he waited till that time. Now, would you call that love? At the end, it wasn't love. It is an interest to clear, a clearing agent. So he had an interest to clear, but he had the patience and he showed everything about love. So you don't quickly jump to conclusion because you see certain traces and you say that is love. No, it is not love. It is an interest the gentleman had to clear and add to the numbers, unfortunately. So that is not love. See, lust is not love. Money is not love. Giving is not love. I'm telling you, it isn't. It isn't.
Money isn't love.
No.
But the love of money.
The love of money doesn't make money love. It's the love of money. The point is, when somebody is using money to attract you, it's only an attraction, not love.
But there's this analogy I've heard that money can buy love.
No, money doesn't buy love. It only attracts love. It doesn't buy love. It will attract love. It doesn't buy. Love is not for sale.
But they still tell you that if like as time goes on, the person will get used, the person will fall in love.
That is time. Okay, that is time. So something had attracted the love to come in. Fine. But to buy the love, no. You may buy lust, not love. Yes.
You may buy lust. Apostle, so at what point can you like feel and see the love you're talking about?
Well,
so which one is circulating around? The one that's of late you get people offering you here and there?
All is circulating. Yeah. True love is circulating. Lust is also circulating.
So how can somebody will ask, how can one like identify? I keep asking this question every week.
Fine. Let me do that quickly for you. You see, to be able to identify love, I would want to be blunt. It's not easy because one could easily be deceived. I'll show you something. When you want to identify love, you will need intuition. Number 2, you will need discernment. I'm telling you. Number 3, when you want to identify love, knowing it is not easy. It is not easy. One need to be extra careful. One need to be very watchful. One need to be very observant. I'm telling you. And I would add the fact that you need to take some of this matter to God in prayer genuinely. And I do that genuinely because if you had already fallen, don't go to God in prayer and pretend.
Because if you've fallen and you go to God, you know, like you need the thing.
You see, when you are fallen and you go asking, sometimes you don't ask well. The biases are there. Rather, go to God and say, God, I have a good heart for this gentleman or for this lady. It seems I have fallen. That is how I feel. When I see him, I feel some way. Something is doing me. and the rest like that. But God, I don't know whether I'm getting it right or wrong. I want to know. So you have gone to God asking, opening up purely and truly. You see, when you don't do that and you just go to God and you pretend, God, I want to know if he is the right one. You've already fallen. You have given your nod already. What do you need God for in this case?
But
Because sometimes when you go and the answer is no, you get worried and disturbed. Sometimes you rubbish the no and you want to make it a yes because something has attracted you. That is the danger when something attracts you. One need to be very careful, you see. And then you see, one also need to be very mindful. Lust is not love. But when lust, L-U-S-T, lusts, L-A-S-T, it may pretend or it may look like love.
Apostle, can you take that again? My viewers are writing. That is a strong point.
Yes. One need to be very careful because lust, as in L-U-S-T, lust may last. Normally, lust doesn't last. But when you find the L-U-S-T, lasting, L-A-S-T, lasting long, which shouldn't really be. But when it lasts long, I'm telling you, it may look like it is love. It is not love. There is no way lust could be love. But lust could last and appear to be love. No, it may last for a year. It may last for 2 years. I'm talking last, L-U-S-T. It may last for 3 years.
That's long.
Oh, yes. Therefore, we live in the real world. Anything could happen. In the law firms, no, not law, the law enforcers, in their investigative moves, haven't you heard stories where a woman, an investigator, could be made to go marry a criminal just because they want an information? And they'll even give birth. Okay, I've watched a movie like that. If it happens in real life, we're in the real world, anything is possible. But can you imagine? No, can you just imagine?
You playing with fire.
Fine, but then that is work. So the fellow is working. This has nothing to do with lust nor love. This is work and interest. To get an information, he had to go pretend to be in love, even marry, even have children, yet they are looking for something. You see? So one needs to be very careful wanting to identify love. I bet you it may not be easy because there are good pretenders. Oh yes, there are good pretenders who last and yet they pretend to love. It is lust.
Apostle, last week one of my viewers asked a question concerning the spirituality of love. Is there something spiritual about love?
Well, obviously, I mean, when you understand that God is love, love is God, you know God is spirit. Simply put, God is spirit, and anything that God deposited in us, it comes from the spiritual or from the spirit. Therefore, love is spirit. Let me add this. When you read 1 John 4 verse 13, we are told that so he gave us his spirit. I mean, and that portion talks about love. And he gave us his spirit. So love is spirit. Love is spiritual. That is why when you approach somebody or somebody approaches you and says, I love you, or you say, I love you, what you're referring to or what you need to know is that it is more of the spiritual which will be working and the physical will be responding. Love is spiritual and it connects to the spirit and only makes the physical, the body, the human mind to cooperate, to follow suit after what the spirit is doing. Therefore, one needs to be careful whom you fall in love with and whom you respond to when the fellow says, I love you. Love is spiritual. Yes, it is.
If God is love and God is spirit, why won't he work these things out for us? Why must we always go through stress?
Don't worry your head. When we were in the ideal world, did Adam go through any stress? He was given a woman. And immediately he saw the woman. You can imagine what he said. This is now bone of my bone This is now flesh of my flesh, it shall be called woman. What Adam saw, God cooked it, God presented it. Adam didn't suffer. Now he left the ideal world, he fell, he had come into the real world. Now go sweat and get. You don't blame God and you don't bring God into this. It is up to you now. Because now lust is in. Now you have taste. You know what's up. You know what you like. Some are fearfully made, some are wonderfully made. Some are fearfully and wonderfully made. Some carry some percentage. The fearfully may be more than the wonderful. Others, the reverse is true. Therefore, you go in for what you think it's okay for you. But you see, the danger is love is not outward appearance because it is spirit. It is in there, not outside. We need to be very careful about that.
I believe what Adam saw was a wow something for him to say, this is the bone of my bone, the flesh of my flesh.
You and I
we're not there. Apostle, is love competitive?
Love doesn't compete with anything, I must say. No, love doesn't compete. No, love is not competitive. It is lust that is competing with love. Love is not competitive. Love is there. When love sees anything it so desires, it wants to yoke with or bond with in a relationship, love will go forward. But it doesn't compete. No. Love doesn't have time to compete. It is lust that is competing with love. Wanting to overtake love. Wanting to clear love out of the way. Love stands tall. Love stands tall.
Is love jealous?
I could that love is not jealous.
we read the Bible. Bible says at a point God said he's a jealous God.
Yes, God says he's a jealous God when he was speaking to the children of Israel. You know, when he was giving the laws to Moses, I think Exodus chapter 20, thereabout. I mean, when God says he is jealous, so what's the question? Is love jealous? Yes. We are talking God. We are not talking love. God says he is jealous. He is God. Everything is in God. Love is in God, comes from God. And God is saying that, he said, do not make any, don't go serve any, don't go bow to anything, don't make any graven image for yourself. No, I am a jealous God. It has nothing to do with love. So I don't know where we got that thing from, that love is jealous. How? Where? When?
I have a lot of people who tell you that if you love something, you jealously get
It's not true. It's not true. Don't believe it. It's not true. See, when you propagate jealousy, you are propagating mayhem. And it's only a matter of time it will explode. Love bonds. It's not a bondage. Love binds two together. But love is not imprisonment. Love is freedom. Love, see, when you see where love is, you check their communication, the way they live, the way they do things together. You would begin to enjoy and want to be in that place. There is peace. There is joy. Look at a man and a woman in love, romantically. When they meet each other, look at their expression. There's nothing to hide and there's nothing to worry about. They are able to share, they communicate well and better. Look at a family where there is love. When children see their parents, how is it like? No, how is it like? But when you do jealousy, in the way, it's not a matter of you guard, it's a lie. It's not about guarding whatever thing. When you want to do that, jealousy breeds suspicion. And how can you suspect somebody you claim you love? From the word go, you are saying he is not trustworthy. I mean, I don't believe we need to spend time jealousy. Maybe one will want to suggest that you should have some degree. Well, jealousy has no business with love, for which I want to guard my thing. You guard your thing. What do you mean by guarding it? Is the fellow running away? Is the thing running away?
Somebody who snatched from you.
How come? It is possible, but the question is how come? One, maybe it's not yours. I'm waiting for us to get to that place where you begin to throw those questions and we may handle some of these things. Maybe it's not yours. That is a fact. It may not be yours. You may not be handling the thing properly. The fellow that is telling you I love you may be lust. It may not be love. He has looked at you and had grown fond of you because he has seen you fearfully made. But maybe his desire is to get the wonderfully made. So he is with you fearfully made. When he sees the wonderfully made, off he goes. And you are jealously guarding it. You are wasting your time. It may so happen that you lose it because you didn't handle it well. You didn't treat it well. You didn't value what you had. So you're definitely going to lose it. You're going to use jealousy to do what? No. Jealousy has no, in short, love has no business with jealousy. Love doesn't jealous. Love doesn't, no, it doesn't jealous. It's a waste of time. If your love is jealous, check it. You need to check it. When God says, I'm a jealous God, he is talking about being God the creator. Being God who has made you, and he has reason and purpose for which he made you. It's not about, no. Love doesn't jealous.
Apostle, at what point should love become possessive, and then obsession? Could obsession be love?
You are pulling me into. I want to know. You see, the reason why
we will be treating that topic on its own.
No, but you see, when you look at love and relationships, like I said, there are various relationships. Man with God, man with his fellow man, man with nature. We've established that. Therefore, we want to look at love in its general sense before we bring it into the various specifics. You know, love being possessive, love being obsessed.
I think.
No, you see, when we start now and you say let us stop,
we will stop soon. So
problematic.
Yeah,
that is why
soon.
I'm smiling.
But you see, we will stop soon, but that is another topic.
Okay, no, but you see,
but I just want the teaser.
Let us be very careful in our understanding of possessiveness and obsession. Possession or possessiveness is having something, holding it dear, not wanting to lose it. Obsession is where you are so much into that thing that without it, you don't feel okay. You don't feel all right. Now, when you look at it on this basis, one can say, yes, sometimes love could act in such a manner. But you see, you, the individual, you must know what love is. Love is not possessive, and love is not obsessive. At various points in time, it may act that way just to send a signal to the party that I value you, I cherish you, I cannot live without you. You know, so it's just a form that sends an announcement. But if you want to do love is possessive, no. Love is obsessive, no. Because you see, love shares. I know I'm provoking a debate now. Love shares.
Apostle, if you say love shares,
Love shares.
I have heard men don't share.
Love shares.